This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
What's it take to be a believer? Tell me who's to say. You think that we'd have come this far, looking back on yesterday, because you hadn't seen sun, you tend to disbelieve. Though you've never known death, when someone dies you grieve. Though you never seen the good Lord, there's ones that worship Him each day.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and around the world on the on the Starcom Radio Network and the X-Zone Broadcast Network. If you'd like to give us a call worldwide toll-free, it's 1-800-610-7035. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and you can listen to the X-Zone 24/7, 365 at www.xzoneradiotv.com. X-Zone Nation, my guest this hour is Jen-Irishu. She is an author, celebrant, speaker, heart and soul counselor, workshop facilitator of Heart Light gatherings and Going Within, and she's also a gatherer of angels. Jen's passion in life is heart healing. She is dedicated to this through her books, Messages of Love, The Angel in My Dreams, and The New Adventures of Angela and Eli, all available on her website, X-Zone Nation, and her Heart Light gatherings and Going Within workshops. Her life struggles and experiences, and there have been many, have taught her wisdom and compassion to see into another's heart and soul in a way that is gentle and life-changing. Joining us now from Australia is the one and only Jen-Irishu. And Jen, welcome to the X-Zone.
Oh, thank you so much, Rob. I bow.
Well, hi.
Thank you so much, first of all, because at the end of the show we don't have time.
Right.
But I would like to thank you so much for having me on your program as a guest. It's just such an honour, and I really appreciate this chance.
My gosh, I'm blushing, but I must tell you, the honor goes to you for the great work that you do.
Oh, well, you know, we're all out there to do our bit, aren't we?
Yeah, you know, I believe that if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And who wants to be part of a problem these days, right?
Oh, not me, and that is the problem. That is the problem, because everybody seems to think that they need to have a problem in order to literally breathe. And, you know, part of my work is to really go into that, what you perceive as real, and to understand that it's all just a manifestation of an illusion.
How do we explain to people, Jen, that reality isn't real, that it's just an illusion that we ourselves are creating?
I think this is a difficult one, because when I'm doing my counselling sessions and I break down, you know, it's really, my counselling sessions are really difficult, and I think they are for anybody, because the client comes and I seem to be seeing healers. So it's healers who haven't healed themselves. So my job seems to be healer, heal thyself first. And so I tend to be the healer to help the healer, although I really don't like to call myself a healer as such. And when they come to me, you know, I will have my clients here for 3 hours, 4 hours. I don't have them back a second time, because if we can't get to the nut of the problem in that time and they don't go away and do their homework, so to speak, I am not interested in putting another 3 or 4 hours of my energy into going over and over and over the same thing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I sure do, and I can really appreciate it, because I know for a fact there are so many out there who claim to be helping people that basically what they do is they develop a dependency from that person to them. And I think that this is very dangerous and it's very sick.
Oh, Rob, because they don't understand, and I do a lot of public speaking, and I tend to be a person who ruffles feathers, but I really do not care.
Yeah, I understand.
That I do this.
I understand that you're the Donald Trump of Australia.
Not really. I'm a bit more gentle than he is and a bit more subtle. And I have all my own hair.
Ooh.
And I do not want to become president of America. But put all that aside, what was I saying? Now I've lost my train of thought, Rob. It's a menopause moment.
No. That was a Rob McConnell interjecting a bunch of silliness into losing the problem.
Don't you love it? But I'm back on track. I've got the train of thought.
There you go.
So when I speak in public, and I'm a shaker waker, you know, it's like, let go of your crap. Yeah. Let go of your stuff. You know, let go of it. We cannot move forward. It is impossible to move forward in a place of peace and harmony if we do not have that within us.
Exactly.
And so, you know, we are, honestly, our earth is running out of time. And I've been having a lot of communication with Ashtar, Commander Ashtar, Lord Ashtar. And we have been having visitations in our home now for the last month, with information coming from extraterrestrial beings who are sharing with my husband and I what is happening to the earth right at this moment.
Can you share what they're saying with us?
Pardon?
Can you share with the audience what they're saying?
You know, it's interesting because I have so many ET experiences. When I speak about these ET experiences, people want to know about the spaceships, the spacecrafts. Yeah. That seems to be the, you know, what are those spacecrafts like, you know, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And what are the little greys like? And tell us about the little greys. Now, my experience with my ET beings, and I never, ever, ever in a million years thought that when my awakening, my spiritual reawakening happened just before I lost my other wing, I call him. And our story is written in Messages of Love, my first book. And I never thought that after the boy, I call him the boy because he was only 40 when he died, and he was just a bit like a Peter Pan. So, and to keep him anonymous, through Messages of Love, I call him the boy. Now, after his passing, and I actually dreamt of the night that I dreamt on the night that he would die. I was given a date. I was given, it was just horrendous, waiting for that time to come. And he actually died on that date I was given. And 5 minutes after his passing, he walked through my door, and he spent 4.5 years with me after his death and shared with me what I would call the secrets of the universe, as much as he could give me at that time that I would understand. Because, you know, I have evolved so much in the 18 years since his passing now that, you know, at the time when if he told me I was going to have extraterrestrial visitations and experiences, I would have said, oh my gosh, you know, this is of my sphere of even, understanding. And so, so at the end of Messages of Love, I started then, which that book I think that book took me probably 4 years to write, because it was a very difficult book to write. It's a very raw, open story. But I understand it is just a story. It's my past now, not my now. And but towards the end of that, it was then I was starting to have the visitations, and my world started to open up. So bit by bit by bit, they just gradually introduced me into a world beyond the world that I perceived as being the only world. And it's been so interesting.
So what is their message?
Their message is...
What is their mission?
First of all, it's simple. Have fun. Lighten up. We're all too serious. We came on Earth originally to be enlightened race. Somewhere along the line, we lost it and became a very serious... there've been many races on this earth. So we've become complicated. They want us to lighten up. Number 2, to do our healing, to heal the heart. Because there's only through the healing of the heart are we going to be able to lift our vibrations enough to enter into the new earth. Have you been hearing about the new earth or the new world?
Yes, I have.
Okay. We cannot go there into a new earth, which is a holographic, which I have been shown this so-called new earth or new world. It's a holographic image of the world that we live on now, which sits side by side. Spirit told me in a dream that we will enter into this new world through what they call a porthole or wormholes, and it will happen in the blink of an eye. Ashtar has been describing the so-called new world, and he's been saying that it is basically identical to the world that we have now, except we will radiate, our skin we will look slightly different. So, for instance, if someone who didn't follow us through into the new world met up with us once we've gone over, they would notice that our skin glows. We have a slightly more etheric look towards us. It will be much, much brighter. There will be new animals and new vegetables and new fruits because our diet will change. So we're going to go into more eating of raw foods, liquid foods, and so the foods that are going to be produced will be a little bit like our tropical, beautiful fruits. We have here custard apples. I don't know whether you have those.
No, I've never heard of that.
Oh, they're beautiful. They're a combination of an apple filled with custard. They're gorgeous. And we have jackfruits and all these really beautiful tropical fruits here in Australia that are just... you put them in your mouth and you go to places, I don't know where you go to, Hawaii or somewhere.
You're making me hungry.
Well, it's lunchtime here. Have you had dinner?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you'll be right then.
Yeah.
So basically the messages I'm receiving are very, very clear about coming back to a place of harmony, peace and harmony. So Ashtar, who came 2 nights ago, I actually had a really interesting conversation with him this time because I was able to ask questions and get answers back. And so basically I asked about the spacecrafts and why can't we see them? And he was telling me. And he also wanted to explain this also. Humans have sort of painted this vision of Ashtar as being this blonde-headed, blue-eyed person. But when he comes to us, he comes in his divine state. So he comes as light, which is quite interesting because I quite expected to see a being or what we think of as an extraterrestrial being. But he comes to us as this beautiful silver light. And he explained to us that this was his natural form, and that we were highly evolved enough that we could understand that he didn't have to come in a physical body, so to speak.
So when is this transformation going to take place? When are we going to this?
It's not long. It's not long. It will be in our lifetime. So he told us last week, it was this week, when I asked questions about it, he said that the earth will have many, many shake-up, wake-ups. The wind is going to cause a lot of this, the wind. So the seas will come up because of the wind. There'll be tsunamis. There'll be typhoons. There'll be, in America, we don't have them here, the wind tunnels, or what do you call them? Tornadoes. So the wind will be the main, nature phenomenon that will begin the process. Do not live in fear. Do not come from a place of fear. To stay centered in a place of love, understanding that we are where we're meant to be at the perfect timing. He explained that those who will enter into the new world, and only those who come from a loving vibration, which comes from the healing of the heart. And this is something we have to be very careful of, because there's a lot of practitioners out there right now who are professing to be able to activate your DNA and to be able to activate your ascension process. This is not correct. The only way you can ascend is through the healing of the heart. And the only way you can do this is to do it yourself.
So
no one else can say to you, okay, click my fingers, your heart is healed, you are now ascended.
So how does one know who is real and who is false?
Do you know what? I think we're afraid to use our intuition, number one. I think many are so desperate for other people to heal them, to do the work for them, they don't really care. They're happy to pay whatever it is they have to pay in order to take the responsibility away from themselves. Do you agree?
I certainly do.
So, my plea, if I can use that word, is become more concerning or disconcerting, whatever the word is, about who it is that you're going to see. Now, for instance, here's an example. I had a lady came to me recently, and she was a healer. Anyway, she had so much baggage, you have no idea. Now, she was an etheric healer as well, so she did Reiki and all that kind of energy work up on her massage table. And I asked her to really think about what she was putting into the energy field of her clients. Was it a pure energy that came straight from the source, or was it a clouded energy that was coming through her own baggage? And this is what I feel is happening. And healers have to take responsibility for the work that they do and the energetic exchange that goes between them and their client. And to understand that when your energy field is full of negativity, if you're not working directly with the source, that is going to go directly into your client.
Right. Yeah.
And so then your client, instead of, leaving your room feeling fantastic, they actually feel quite sick and quite ill. And they're taking home, because we're very empathic, we take on people's feelings. And so because they're taking on the feelings of the person who's supposed to have healed them, they go home and they don't know why they're grumpy or, what's going on, why they're angry or, why they don't feel well. And they've got no understanding at all that it is actually not them. It's come from another person, another source.
Okay, so when we look at the big picture, there's a lot of upheaval in the world today. Look at the Middle East. Look what's going on as far as the wars between religious philosophies, for goodness sake. It seems that we're stepping back in time when it comes to religious wars, religious upheavals. Is it time where, because of this new earth, these new starts, that we actually look and say, you know what? We've evolved past the position where we need to have deities, where we need to have religious doctrine to tell us how to live.
Yeah, way past it. The thing is, I've noticed, especially here in Australia, that so many so-called spiritual gurus and enlightened beings, and just those who are just beginning on their pathway, are so still spiritually stunted. Their understanding of so-called spirituality, and I use that word not as a, I don't want to use it as a religion.
No, I understand.
Because it can be, I've been in spiritual churches and, oh my gosh, you just say to yourself, I'm really walking into another establishment of doctrine.
Exactly.
Although they call themselves a spiritual church.
Well, they've got to change the name or else no one would come.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. And, I have never, ever seen so much turmoil in the spiritual churches I've been in anywhere, in my whole life. I remember once, I'm going to share this. Okay. I was walking along the beach and Princess Diana came and she said to me, Jen, do you know where the temple is? No, that's wrong. She said, do you know where the church is? What is the church? And I was a Catholic and I left the Catholic Church after Bruce died many years ago because I just, I was growing so quickly on a spiritual level. It just didn't resonate with me anymore, much to my parents' disgust. And she said, so where do you think your church is? And I said, in my heart. And she said, there is no other place where you will find your church. The church is the temple inside your heart. And I never forgot her message. And when I got home, there was a spirit worked really well with me. And there was a note left on my front door and it said, home is where the heart is. And I know Spirit left that message on my front door. And I just laughed and laughed and laughed as I thought of Princess Diana's message to me. And I think until we can let go of everything that we believe to be true and everything that we've been taught from generations past and understand that we've actually been living a lie. Because we have believed as children that what an adult tells us is the truth.
In most cases, you're right.
Because we want to please them. So to please our mum and dad, we become good little girls and boys, and we go, yes, mum, yes, dad, because we know we're going to get a pat on the back. And if we buck the system, we go, you naughty girl, you naughty boy, go to your room and don't come out until I tell you. So we learn to mould our thinking because we're born knowing everything, but bit by bit, it's stripped from us in order to please somebody else. So then we go to school. And so we become good little Johnnies and Jennies to learn our lessons and to please our teachers. And then we make little friends. And so because we want to be popular, we do everything we can to please our little friends. And then through life, we come to find a partner, and because we love that partner, we want to stay loved.
Mm-hmm.
And in that partnership, we bend our own belief system at times in order to mold ourselves to be loved by that partner, until one day we just wake up and we say, hold on, who am I? Who am I? I do not know who I am. And that's when we start searching. And that's when we come to the heart of the matter, the heart chakra. So right now I am trying to get across to people to come up to that heart chakra and to ask those questions and to find out who you are and to love who you are and to forgive who you thought you were and let go of the past and say, you know, okay, that's fine. That got me to where I am right now.
Jen, you and I have to take a break. We'll be back shortly. Great having you with us. Thank you very much for sharing your day with us here in the X-Zone.
Oh, a pleasure. Thank you, Rob.
X-Zone Nation, my guest this hour is Jen-Irishu, and her website is www.jen, that's JEN-IRISHU.com. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Monday through Friday from 8 p.m. Eastern until midnight. Live and around the world from our broadcast center here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the X-Zone Broadcast Network and the Starcom Radio Network. My name is Rob McConnell. Whatever you do, don't go away. We'll be right back.
You think we'd come this far, looking back on yesterday?
Wondered if your advertising dollar is really working for you? If your ad would have been here, you and more than 4 million people would be listening to it right now. Contact ads at xzoneradiotv.com.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money and abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
Call him Reef. Reef is your host. Reef is your guide. Are you happy? Happiness is like trying to find water in the desert. Can you find any? Sometimes, sure, but only a few drops. God is an ocean of joy, but God is not cheap. You cannot find God in a chemical. You must attract God's attention. How? Not by living to please your senses. That is false ego. The Matrix is not real. It is a computer-enhanced hallucination. You are spirit soul, not the body. We have forgotten how splendid our home really is, the spiritual sky. For more information, visit rishasongofblue.com. That's www.reshasongofblue.com.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
My name is Michael Telstar, Canada's leading mentalist from Toronto, Ontario.
Hi, my name is Splenda, and you're listening to my dad, Rob McConnell, on the X-Zone.
This is Psychic Dorothy from St. Catharines, and you're listening to Rob McConnell.
Hello, my name is Holly Reeves, an astrologer from Astro For You, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X-Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Welcome to The X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. Before we get back to our guest this hour, I'd like to remind you that September the 30th, Wednesday, is going to be a day that will go down in the annals of ufology. I have 2 of the top people in ufology coming on the X-Zone to debate the Billy-Meyer UFO case. In one corner, from Fredericton, New Brunswick, the great-grandfather of ufology, Stanton T. Friedman himself, will be debating the North American representative for Billy-Meyer, Michael Horn. They're going to be debating the reality, the authenticity of the Billy-Meyer case. That is Wednesday, September 30th, 2015, from 8 p.m. Eastern until 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on the X-Zone Radio Show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, and heard around the world on the X-Zone Broadcast Network and Starcom Radio. And speaking about the Starcom Radio Network, if you'd like to listen to what radio was meant to be like, listen to my friend Ed Till Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. until 5 p.m. right here on Starcom. Jen-Irishu is our special guest. Her website is www.jen-irishu.com. And Jen, thanks so much for being with us. And let's talk about alien psychic surgery and healing. What can you tell me about that?
Oh, I've had it. I have had this. So I can talk about it really from a personal experience. Going back quite a few years ago, I was, let me go. This particular, at that point in time, I was doing tarot readings, okay? Right. So every night before I went to sleep, this is after my boy died. He'd already passed over. So I would do a little reading for myself. And this particular night, the star fell out. Because I don't take anything. My cards just fall out, okay? So they drop out and they fall on the floor. I actually don't do them anymore, and I haven't done this for many years. But the star fell out. And I had been to the doctor that morning, and I had a lump on my left breast. And they were very concerned about it, and I had to go in to have surgery, quick, smart, because they said, you know, it didn't look good at all. Sure. Anyway, so I started to go to sleep, and I thought, oh, well, you know, tomorrow I'll be in hospital and it'll be interesting to see what's going on here. And there was a bright light came through my bedroom curtains. And I thought, oh, what's that? So I got up and opened up the curtain. And, oh, my gosh, I've never seen anything like it in my whole life. it was like the whole sky. Now, I was living quite close to the city, so you don't get the stars in the city. You don't get to see them because of the reflection of the city lights.
Mm-hmm.
But the sky was, it was just so filled with stars. It was a blanket of shining stars. But there was this particular one that was much, much larger than all the rest. And so I was fascinated standing at my window, you know, probably about midnight, looking at these stars, thinking, oh my, I've never experienced anything like this in my whole life. And I hopped back into bed, and as soon as I sort of put the covers up over myself, the stars came through my window and filled my bedroom.
Oh, my gosh.
And I was watching these dancing stars just shooting right through my bedroom, and they were on the ceiling, and they were like, I was just this tiny speck amongst all these stars in my bedroom. And I was awake, so I was aware of what was going on. It wasn't like, oh, is this a dream or a vision? It was real. And then the stars just settled, and they settled on the ceiling, and that one big bright light just sort of came off the ceiling and floated down beside my bed. And from that white light, two beings appeared. And they were tall, not as tall as what you think of, you know, tall. Or they were maybe 6'5", 6'6", wearing white. I couldn't see their face. They had a cloak on, so the hood of the cloak was hiding their face. And they said, just let us massage you. And so I thought, oh, gosh, this is all right, okay. So I just lay very quietly, and one of them put its hand, I'll say it, on top of my left breast and kept its hand there. And the other one put both its hands up and just channeled the energy down into my body. And so I could see all these rays of healing energy going into my body. This didn't last very long. I would say maybe 5 minutes, and then whoof, everything was gone. The stars were gone, the beings were gone, the big light was gone, my room was back to normal. So I went to the hospital the next day, and I had nothing there. It was gone.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. So over the period of time since then, I have experienced this more and more. Now, I'll just explain my latest one. I fell down the stairs here in my house, and I badly broke my foot and my ankle.
Ooh.
And it was my second break in less than a year. And it was, I thought, oh, no, not again. You know, 2 breaks in 1 year. Oh, I can't believe this has happened. Anyway, the night it was broken, I was in agony. I was just in agony because my foot literally was turned around, you know, back the front, and it was very, very painful. And I was lying in bed, and I said to Chris, oh, I just can't believe this has happened again. And I said, it's so painful, I can't sleep. And so I said, please, dear God, will you take away my pain just so I can at least sleep? Instantly, the pain was taken. Instantly. Just taken away. So what happened, my doctor set my foot in plaster, but when it was set, the heel, when they took the plaster off, my foot wasn't flat on the ground. My heel was elevated off the ground. So I had to have it re-broken and put back into plaster.
Oh, for gosh sake.
Anyway, I know. So this was for 6 months I was in and out of plaster. And at the end of it, they x-rayed it again and found I had 8 broken bones still not knitted at the top of my foot. So I thought, oh, here we go again. So that night, once again, I went to sleep. I was woken. The light came into my bedroom. The 2 beings appeared, and they said, come with us. And I said, where are we going? And they said, you know where we're going. You've been there many times before. So I was taken into a room. It was all stainless steel. And they asked me, would I to get up on the stainless steel table, not to be in fear that everything would be perfect. Now, I could see everything that was going on. I was well aware of what was happening. So the main one said to the other one to go and get prepared, to prepare the screws to go into my foot. So the main one used his power finger, I suppose I would call it, and opened up my foot, and I watched it open. But there was absolutely no pain. So then the other one went and got a steel plate and handed it to the one who was operating on me. So the one who was operating on me put the steel plate under the skin on the top of my foot and then inserted 6 screws to keep the plate in place on the top of my foot, and then just with his finger went zzz across where he cut, and the whole thing just closed over. And I was just absolutely, gobsmacked as I was watching all of this happen. I didn't see any blood. There was no pain. And then both beings said, come with us. And they took me back and took me to my bed. And I woke up the next morning and I looked down at my foot expecting to see something, but I saw absolutely nothing. So I thought I'll go and test this and see if I have an X-ray, if there is something in my foot that they can find. Well, they didn't, but what they did find was all my bones were healed.
And how long previous to that had they taken the other X-ray where there were 8 bones that weren't healed?
4 days.
My gosh.
4 days. 4 days previously.
Now, you see, that's not what I call a psychic healing. Well, psychic healing, as we know it over here, is when the psychic or the con artist, as I like to call them, pretend to take chicken gizzards out of the body of a person. See, that's what we consider as a psychic healing. But what you've told me is more like an angelic when
I was waiting to go on your program, and I was watching Skype, and I saw, Rob's in Canada.
Yeah.
I'm in Australia. And I was starting to think of how we think of each other as separate. Separate. We're separate, aren't we?
Well, yeah.
Most people don't think of us, of each person, as being one. Each entity in the universe as being one. That we are one with the God source.
I do. I think that way.
Sorry, Dave?
I think that way.
Yeah, there's no separation.
No.
I'm getting to something here.
Okay.
So, when you said, I don't think that's what you call psychic surgery, I look at what happened to me as not a separateness between what people do on Earth and what people do in the other planets or star systems.
Right.
I think of it as all being one.
Okay.
Okay, so whatever was done to me in that starship or that spaceship on wherever they did it, it's not separate from whatever these charlatans do here on Earth. So psychic surgery is psychic surgery no matter where it happens.
Right, but the psychic surgery that I was referring to is totally different from the surgery that you had done. Because the psychic surgery that I'm talking about, the people are never healed. They're just bilked out of a lot of money. And the people who cured you, it's a totally different connotation. That's all I was getting at.
Is that the lesson? Is the lesson here to learn to recognize the difference? Or is the lesson here to say to ourselves, we cannot be in judgment of what any other so-called psychic surgeon does to another person, because we all have choices. And this is just, I'm just throwing around ideas here.
Okay.
Because that's what I do. And so could it be that the person who chooses to go and see that particular psychic surgeon has a lesson to learn about that experience?
No, I don't agree with that.
I don't know. I'm just throwing thoughts around.
I don't agree with that. I believe that these charlatans should be exposed and brought up to the top of the cream bucket and skimmed off. Because
who's going to do that? Who's going to do it, Rob?
Everyone. Everyone is responsible because we're all part of one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's up to everyone.
I'm with you there. Honestly, I am. But the thing is, someone needs to lead the warriors, if you so to speak. There's always someone who has to take responsibility if we don't like what's happening to make that to assist in the change of that.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I've been saying for a number of years now that, in the United States it was we the people. And over the years it's changed from we the people to I the person, that the people have given up their authority, their power to I the person. And now they're looking at the mess the country is in. And they're saying, well, we're too politically correct. Well, you gave up the power. The greatest power you have is the power to vote. You can make the changes, but you have to do it in a united manner.
Yeah. And that's so true.
Yeah.
When we learn about the power of love and not the love of power, Jimi Hendrix, what such a wise being he was. When is society going to come to the realization and the truth of being not being a follower and actually being a leader, and a leader in the right way, as Yeshua was, and people that have been in the past, even Mother Teresa, what a beautiful, beautiful being she was, and she stepped out of the mainstream and became her own leader. And I think, we all need to band together in one way and become, a united leader, rather than a particular leader where we have to bow and scrape and say, yes, sir, no, sir.
I've had a number of discussions lately when it comes to different religious philosophies. And everyone is looking at the different philosophy, whether it's Islam, whether it's the Torah, whether it's the Quran, whether it's the Bible. And I look at it totally different. I look at it and say, instead of changing the religion, why don't we all try and change the way we think instead of negativity? Why don't we just shower everyone with the love? And once you shower people with love, then it becomes a totally different way of looking at their religion, looking at them personally, looking at their past. Because with love, you can forgive, you can better understand, you can take one step at a time. You're not judgmental. So instead of trying to change the book, change the author.
Yeah. Or you can rewrite your story. We need to understand that we wrote the movie of our life.
Yeah.
Okay? And if we don't like the movie of our life,
change the script.
Change your actors. We go, oh yes, he did this to me, she did that to me. But as I say, over and over again when I speak, no one abuses you more than you abuse yourself.
Yep.
Self-abuse. So how, we talk about sprinkling the diamonds of love throughout the world. Yes, you may have come to that part in your life now where you are filled with self-love. So self-love creates love. But there are so many out there who are still living in fear and in, they're self-destructing, basically, with lack of self-esteem, lack of in lack, living in lack. And it's like, I think if we can change people's ideas about who they think they are and empty the vessel and then start to refill that vessel with positive thoughts and positive affirmations and self-love and self-respect and self-esteem and kindness, you know. If you can just be kind to one person every single day, it just automatically spreads the love, does it not?
It sure does.
It surely does. I had an interesting little thing happen to me last week. I had to have some moles taken off my face. Mm-hmm. And because, you know, Australia's, the sun's a bit different over here, and being in Queensland, we have sun, you know, basically, you know, a whole year out of a year. And so I spend a lot of time out in the sun because I'm an earth sign and a Virgo, and that's where I get my energy from. Anyway, one of the girls where I was having the moles removed said to me, "Oh, would you like to have a little facelift?" And she said, and we could do a little bit of Botox here and a bit of Botox there. And I looked at her and I said, I probably could, but I teach that beauty comes from within. And I would feel a bit of a hypocrite if I didn't practice what I preached. And I shared with her a story on how people judge another on appearance. And this particular day, I was driving home and there was a homeless man under the bridge on the way to my home. And I believe it was God. Because when I went back, he was gone. Because I went home to get some blankets and he was not there. And I stopped the car and I sat and spoke to him. He smelt and he was in rags and, oh my gosh, you know, he was really downtrodden. This man was the most enlightened man I have ever encountered in my whole life. He's become one of my heroes. And he told me that he spends a lot of time in the cities with homeless youth, the homeless youth, because he said they're in a position where they've run away from home, they're lonely, they have no food, they have no shelter, they have, you know, they're uncertain about, you know, their future, they're frightened, you know, they're either on, some of them are on drugs and some of them are alcoholics, and on he went. And he said, do you know, Jen, he said, I believe I was born to be a hobo so I could be there for those kids. And I looked at him and I said, and I bet many judge you for this, and they judge your appearance. And he said, I am judged all the time, but he said, I know my purpose in life.
Jen,
how beautiful is that?
It's a beautiful story, but unfortunately we have to say so long for tonight. I do want to thank you ever so much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. And
thank you so much.
I look forward to the next time you and I meet back here in the X Zone.
I would love that. Thank you so much, Rob. And everybody who's listening to this program, heal yourselves so you can just spread the love.
Take care of yourself, my new friend.
Namaste. Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
And that's it for tonight, X Zone Nation. I'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock as once again we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. So until tomorrow night, from everyone here at the X Zone Broadcast Network, our good friends at the Starcom Radio Network, and, of course, my buddy Ed Till, listen to him, 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. here on the Starcom Radio Network. Take care of yourself. Remember, make someone happy. It'll make you feel good. So until tomorrow night, always remember to keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night, everyone.
Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay.